Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Saturday, April the 6th, 2019, 6:34 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So I'm going to try and keep this short tonight. And I've been doing daily reporting on methane as soon as new data is released over on my Subscribestar page. And it's available for my subscribers and supporters over there. But I will be doing a weekly roundup tomorrow, probably on different things. So it'll be a little bit longer show tomorrow. But I appreciate everyone who's been subscribing and donating and helping me out. It's really going to help me out a lot. And if you'd like to support my work, you can certainly go to subscribestar.com/Margo and join for $5 a month and see my posts. And I've been talking about this for about a week now, and I like it, and I will leave the link in the description box below. So we've got USGS pulled up here, and by the way, I don't pretend to be Dutch Sense or do what he does. We have totally different styles, and I'm the grade school version of looking into earthquakes. He's the college version. So people try to compare me to Dutch Sense, don't even bother. But I think he's very good, and I watch him as well. So we're looking at USGS for the last 24 hours for all magnitudes worldwide, and we're seeing 216 here on the map. And of those, 38 are 2.5 magnitude and higher. So just looking at this map, you can see that it's just going all over the place. And so even though the number of earthquakes have gone down, look at how varied they are. They're going all over the place. So let's see what's about to come off the map. We're going to start with this 4.5 in Tajikistan. Well, it's actually in China, but the reporting station is Tajikistan. So it's across the border in China. It's a 4.5 near Karakul, Tajikistan, that came in last night at 9:02 p.m., 35 kilometers deep. Coming on around, we've got one in the middle of the Caspian Sea of 4.1 that happened at 1:33 this morning, 53 kilometers deep. And then we had one in France, 3.2, that happened at Chevanceau, France, at 9:44 last night, 8 kilometers deep. So when we see them in France, that's a rare occurrence. Poland, France, places like that. Then, following along this red line, there was a 4.8 off the coast of Portugal, 67 kilometers southeast of Furnas, Portugal. I guess that's an island, but it's to the west of Spain and Portugal, here on this red line. This one came in at 12:54 this morning, and these times are Pacific time because that's my time zone. Next, we had a 4.7 in the northern mid-Atlantic ridge at 10:11 this morning. And let's come back around here and get this big couple of 3 in the mid-Indian Ridge. We've got a 5.3 that happened at 12:47 this morning, a 4.6 that happened at 1:01 this morning, and a 5.2 that happened at 5:03 this morning. So these are large earthquakes right on this red line. There's so much shaking going on now. And now we've got these two. Remember we had this cluster here? There had actually been 33, and right here near Mohian, India, it's actually in the ocean, in the Andaman Sea and Andaman Sea there, and now we've got some more. There's a 4.6 at 1:12 this morning and a 4.8 at 6:23 this morning. Now coming on down to Indonesia, we've got 2 in the ocean. We had a 6.3 near Dili, East Timor at 2:55 this afternoon. It was very deep, 538 kilometers deep. And remember that with the deep ones, and a large deep one especially, it will cause shaking of the tectonic plates around the planet and will cause more earthquakes as things shift around. And then there was a 4.7 at the same place at 3:19 this afternoon that was 547 kilometers deep. Okay, I'm going to catch this one up here in the Philippines, a 4.5 near Sarangani, Philippines at 6:57 this morning, 207 kilometers deep. Coming on around, we've got a 5.0 near Kirikira, Solomon Islands at 11:44 this morning, 72 kilometers deep. And down here on land at New Zealand, this is on the South Island, there was a 4.6 near Te Anau, New Zealand at 5:42 this morning, 72 kilometers deep. And we can see this tectonic plate, this red line, comes down to the east of this northern island, and then it crosses the northern part of the southern island and then runs down the whole west side of this southern island of New Zealand. And they've been being warned, their officials there are warning about possible big earthquake coming, because there have been so many earthquakes and small earthquakes in the region, and over here off the west coast of Gisborne, they've had a bunch. And there, remember, I did some research and showed that there's a big methane store underneath here and it's venting. So we're going to keep New Zealand in our prayers. Well, we're going to keep everyone in our prayers, but we need to especially keep them in our prayers. Then was a 4.9 near Rota, Northern Mariana Islands at 11:42 this morning, 66 kilometers deep. Then coming on around, this is to the north of Japan and to the south of Kamchatka, Russia, is a 4.4 in the ocean. They're calling it near Vostok, Russia at 1:11 this afternoon, 142 kilometers deep, and a 4.4 to the west of the Kamchatka Peninsula. They're calling it near Ozernovsky at 4:22 this afternoon, 505 kilometers deep. So that's near that red line. And I'm still having mouse issues, so just got to deal with it. Then down here in this off the coast of South America was a 4.4 at the West Chile Rise at 11:38 p.m. last night. Coming on up, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get these over here, and then I'm going to highlight them and call them off. Then there was a 4.3 near Vincina, Argentina at 1:16 this afternoon, 102 kilometers deep. 4.8 near Coquimbo, Chile at 2:33 this afternoon, 61 kilometers deep. And a 4.7 near Luta, Peru at 6:15 this evening, 87 kilometers deep. So that one just came in. Then there was a large one up here in the Gulf of California, and this is where Mexico comes up, and here's the United States. Here's Baja that comes down, and this red line is called the Imperial Fault Line. It's an extension of the San Andreas Fault Line, and there were two here, it looks like. First there was a 4.1, they're calling it near Puerto Penasco, Mexico at 1:45 this morning. And then there was a 5.2 at the same place at 2:01 this afternoon. So that's of high importance. So let me see if I got all of the international earthquakes. I think that's all of those. So I'm going to go to all magnitudes now and zoom into Hawaii and see what's going on. We've got 9 here today for all magnitudes. I'll call them off. 1.8, that's at Kilauea at a 0.1 kilometer depth. 2.1 Pahala. 3.2, that's at Mauna Loa at 3:50 this morning at a minus 1.4 kilometers depth, so that was up in the crater. 2.8 Mauna Loa at 3:54 this morning at a 0.1 kilometer depth. 2.0 near Kilauea again. 1.7 Kilauea, 1.9 Kilauea, 1.8, and that's on the southern flank of Kilauea, and a 2.3 further down. So those are picking up, and especially the larger magnitude, the 3.2 on that, right on that Mauna Loa volcano. So that's showing activity, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Now let's go to the Dominican Republic. And we're showing 20 here today, so that's an increase in the number of earthquakes, and they look bigger. And when we scroll down through the list, we see a lot of high 2s range. So it's starting with the 2.0 on land on Puerto Rico near Palomas at 6:49 last night. We're seeing a lot on land here today, and then they're peppered around in the ocean too. A lot more on land, on Puerto Rico. And it looks like the highest magnitude one was this 2.8 in the ocean. So, there's that. Now let's zoom on into Alaska. And of all magnitudes, we've got 83 here today. Now Alaska averages between 50 and 100 a day. It's very high activity, high geological activity. The 2.5 magnitude ones we're going to go over first. There was a 2.8 near Chignik Lake, 2.8 near Big Lake, and that's in the Anchorage area, 2.5 at Kobuk, 2.9 Talkeetna, 2.5 Allakaket, and a 3.3 Talkeetna. And that one is recent. It came in at 6:33 this evening at 117 kilometers depth. Let's look at this cluster up here. This is in the Talkeetna area. We're definitely seeing a clustering. We've got 20 earthquakes right here in the view, including Talkeetna and Cantwell. Okay, so it's Cantwell where it's clustering. And these are high ones, mid to high ones range, or low ones, and high ones. So here's a 2.4 at Cantwell. You can see where it's blue, the blue dot, that's the one I'm looking at. That one was 119 kilometers deep. Here's some shallow ones. Here's a 2.9 that was a 0.1 kilometer depth. And there's that 3.3 we just saw. And there's a 2.4 that came in a few minutes before that 3.3. So that's ramping up. And here's Anchorage. There's not very many at Anchorage today, only 10 on the map there. And let's take a peek at Kobuk. They've been swarming for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks now. And we have 27 on the map here today for all magnitudes. And a lot of these are at 0 kilometer depth, so they're right at the surface. In fact, most of them are at 0 kilometer depth, so that's of interest to me. And they're just swarming on, and they're in the ones range. And then a 2.1 and 2.2, 2.4, and here's that 2.5 that we saw, then a 2.1, and the last one was a 1.4 at 5:57 this afternoon. But there will be more. That seems to be an active area now. And then up here at Koktovik, we've got a couple, a 2.4 and a 1.9. So, and we've got some down here in this curve region. Here's this 2.1 near Cape Yakataga, Alaska. That came in at 5:57 this afternoon. 2.2 Skagway, 1.6 Cape Yakataga, and a 2.4 near Haines. So now let's come down to the lower 48. That's annoying. Anyway, it's going to start here with this one right on the border between New Mexico and Colorado. We saw one near this area yesterday. Here's a 2.8. They're calling it near Trinidad, Colorado. This came in at 10:53 last night, 8 kilometers deep. Then here's this one here in northwestern Arizona. They're calling it, the reporting station is St. George, Utah, but it's in the northwest corner of Arizona. It was a magnitude 1.1 at 0 kilometers depth at 10:55 last night. Utah is clear. Here's Yellowstone. Okay, it's eerily quiet. Yellowstone is clear, and the only activity we're seeing up in this northwest is we've got this cluster going on in Friday Harbor, Washington, and then we've got one at Eatonville. That was a 0.7, and then the rest are a cluster, 1.8, and here's a 2.9. That's pretty good sized. That one happened at 9:55 last night, and then it goes back to ones and under ones, and the last one was a 1.4 at 5:59 this morning, and we saw a cluster here yesterday too. So I have the real-time tremor map pulled up. Now this is interesting. For the last 3 hours they're not showing any tremors in coming up from California. All these little black dots are reporting stations. And so no tremors for the last 3 hours, and there's only a couple of tremors for the last 6 hours. Here's 12 hours. So not much activity as far as tremors for the last 12 hours, but the last 24 hours we're seeing activity up here again in Portland, north of Portland, near Castle Rock. And it's not very many, not like what we have seen. So maybe all those big earthquakes are taking, it's not shaking, doing little shakes so much because it's big earthquakes that are happening around. But we do have some in that Friday Harbor, you can see there. So there's that. My computer sounds like it's digesting something. Let's go to Nevada next. Let's start in the southern part. We've got 9 here, including this one down here in Arizona, so it would be 8 in Nevada. This is in southern Nevada. This is where the Nevada test site is, and Area 51 and all that. So the largest one, we did have a 3.2 near Courant, Nevada at 10:59 this morning. And then There was a 1.7 at the same place at 11:45 this morning. So that 3.2 is the biggest one. And then the rest are under 1 or around 1. And we've seen them there before at Courant. And then we've got a couple at Hawthorne, a 0.5 and a 1.8 at Smith Valley. So nothing else for Nevada. Now Northern California is clear. Now we're coming on down into the geysers area. And we've got 27 here today for the geysers. Here's a 2.6. That looks like it could be the biggest one. That one came in last night at 11:29, it looks like. And the rest are under 1 or low ones. Let's look at 2.5 magnitude and higher. So we got one down here near Anderson Springs, and we saw that was the one that we just saw. So all the rest of them that I'm going to show you in California now are under 2.5 magnitude. So as we're coming around, we've got 4 over here near Mammoth Lakes. Unless they're piled up on top of each other. Yeah, we've got 4 at Mammoth Lakes. They're pretty small. Ones under 2. Now here in the San Francisco area, a 1.3 near Portola Valley. Coming on down this San Andreas fault line, we've got a 1.4 Tres Pinos. We've got a 2.4 out here in the ocean near San Simeon. 1.5 Pinnacles, 2.1 Pinnacles, and 1.1 Pinnacles. Coming on down, we've got a 1.2 near Grapevine, and then a couple over here in Little Lake, 0.8 at Little Lake, and a 0.9 near Trona. That's in the Coso Junction area. Okay, I got the Grapevine one. Now, coming on down into Southern California, including that Grapevine one, we only have 18 here today. So that's like the lowest number I've seen since I've been doing earthquakes. And I started in December of last year reporting on earthquakes. So these are pretty small ones. Under 1, here's a 2.4 at Beaumont. That's the largest one. Then there was a 0.8 there at Beaumont. There were 2 at Yucca Valley, a 1.1 and a 0.9. So we're not going to spend any more time on that. That's not very much at all. So I think that's... Uh-oh, we've got a new one down here in South America. I can't remember if this was on the map when I started or not, so I'll go ahead and 4.7 near Luta, Peru at 6:15 this afternoon. I think I reported on that. I just wanted to make sure. When you see a big red dot like that, you don't want to miss it. what's this? I'll zoom out to on the 2.5 magnitude and higher. Talkeetna 3.3. We saw that. So that's it for the earthquake report. But I would like to share a little bit from the Bible tonight. And this is from John, the Gospel of John, chapter 8. Book 8. And people, I say power to the truth, and a lot of people have started saying that, and a lot of people say, and the truth shall set you free. But I don't know that a lot of people know that that came from Jesus. That is a quote from the words of Jesus in the Bible, and he was talking to his disciples about learning, and being a disciple and following him and learning about him and his Father, God, and that if you can do that, then you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And that's the context. And so this statement has come out of context so much. Now it's being used by everybody, and we've got the truther movement and this and that. But I just wanted to show people that this actually came from Jesus, and I'm going to read this from verse 12. Okay, this is chapter 8, verse 12. I'm going to start here and just read this through the 32nd verse. And this will give you something to think about. And then Jesus again said unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The Pharisees therefore said unto him, Thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true. Jesus answered and said unto them, Though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true, for I know whence I came, and whither I go. But ye cannot tell whence I came, whence I come, and whither I go. Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. It is also written in your law that the testimony of 2 men is true. I am one that bear witness of myself, and the Father that sent me beareth witness of me. Then said they unto him, Where is thy Father? And Jesus answered, Ye neither know me, nor my Father. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also. These words spake Jesus in the treasury, as he taught in the temple, and no man laid hands on him, for his hour was not come yet. Then said Jesus again unto them, I go my way, and ye shall seek me, and shall die in your sins. Whither I go, ye cannot come. Then said the Jews, Will he kill himself? Because he saith, Whither I go, ye cannot come. And he said unto them, Ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. I said therefore unto you, that ye shall die in your sins. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in your sins. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? And Jesus saith unto them, Even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. I have many things to say and to judge of you, but he that sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him. They understood not that he spake to them of the Father. Then said Jesus unto them, When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things. And he that sent me is with me. The Father hath not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. And he spake these words. As he spake these words, many believed on him. And then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And so that's where that statement came from. And so he was trying to teach people how to see between the lines, and how to recognize the lies of Satan and the lies of this world, because he was not from this world, and he had direct connection and direct communication with God all the time. So he had a different viewpoint, since he wasn't from this world, and that's what he was trying to teach people and trying to help free them and realize, you're in this prison set up by Satan, and the more you buy into it, the more you play the game, the more you go along with the ways of the world, and the more you're going to be deceived by Satan, because Satan deceives, and he's the father of lies, and he came to lie, steal, and destroy, and he came to capture people's souls. And so this is where the truth, if you know the truth shall make you free. This is where it came from, and this is what he was talking about. And so I just wanted people to know that. So I will leave you with that, with those thoughts. And until next time, God bless every one of you, and go in peace, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night.